CHARM stands for Children's Autism Recovery Map. The website is www.charmtracker.com, and you see this opening page. Click enter and it takes you to the sign in page, which asks for your username and password. If you are an existing user, you would enter your information in, or go into new user, sign up for free. It asks you a few basic questions. You will receive a password and you can now sign in. The first page is the home page. It has three basic tabs: the interventions, the observations, and academic tracking. Covers all the basic interventions that you might be doing: prescription drugs, supplements, any therapies, your dietary interventions. So first we go into the prescriptions page. On a daily basis, it has, on a calendar date basis, the list of prescriptions that I'm using for my son. If I've made no changes, then I don't make any entries on this page. The third thing on this tab is therapies. Here we try to capture other therapies that you might be doing. For example, speech or RDI or auditory integration. Basically enter the name of the therapy and keep track of how many hours or minutes you're doing the therapy. We also have a panel to capture dietary interventions. You can pick any dietary aspect on our list by clicking the add button, and it brings up a whole list of items. I chose almonds, so you could include almonds or rotate or eliminate almonds from the diet. And again, this is tracked on a daily basis, so when you make changes to the diet, you can keep track of them this way. The next panel here is observations. Here we try to record what symptoms or observations we as parents or caregivers make on a daily basis, or whatever interval you wish to record. For me, it makes sense to track hyperactivity, imaginative play, and peer interaction. So you pick the type of symptom you would like to track, and it becomes part of this panel. And when you come in every day, you might want to change this on the basis of what you're observing. If today I noticed an increase in imaginative play, I would say +1, since this is a relative scale. What that means is that I'm tracking on the basis of how today is compared to yesterday. The panel here is custom programs, which means programs that you would like to track that make sense for your child. I would like to track how my son does in his gym classes, or how he does when his friend comes over for a play date. Things that don't make sense for the whole population, but maybe something that makes sense to you and your child. So you could add your program name, add in any details about the program, and choose a scale that you would like to track it in, and then it becomes part of your program. On the right, we have a notes text box. I had something to note when my son asked about school the next day. He had a few moments of very good conversation. The last section on this panel, academic tracking. This is where we are trying to capture improvements in cognition, academic acquisition, retention, and so on. So for example, here I've created a spelling program. It's possible to create a new program. So you click on new program and you can create a name for the program and add targets, which are basically subunits of the program that can be tracked individually. And once a program is added, success in the program can be tracked, and we can see whether there is a correlation between interventions and improvements in academics and how well the child is able to acquire new information. The next panel is My Records. This panel shows the entry of data for medical record. Here down in this drop-down box is a list of records that most of us use for our children who are dealing with autism. We have the ability to import medical records directly through PDFs. You could manually go in and add the values here yourself, or PDFs that you've received either from your physician or from the lab, you could import them directly. Here is a urine toxic metals test, and I have a report that I pick from my local file system, and when I say process, it's going to parse the data and automatically enter them on the screen. So you will get a chance to go in and edit the values if there are any mistakes. Otherwise, the data is parsed from the PDF. So then you say update and it becomes part of the child's records. The next feature here is an ability to plot data. You can pick any of the records that you have and pick calendar dates if you would like. In this case, I've picked the neopterins and say plot, and it shows you a graph. This is a useful feature to see trends and allows us to make decisions on how the child is doing and what interventions have helped. Next, we explore the reporting features of ChARM. The first is the current treatment report, which is a summary essentially of all the treatments that this child is getting. This prints out a summary for your records or for other caregivers or sharing with your physician or other therapists. The next report is called the treatment change report. Sometimes days pass and we don't have a recollection of what changed. Here we can see what happened, what changed in my son's interventions from last month to this month. The next is the observation change report, which is actually a plotting utility. It lets you plot symptoms as a function of time and say show report, and brings up a plot. The last tab is interfacing with your care team. So this is where you will find icons that will link you to physicians and therapists who have signed up as part of our system, and you can use this space to invite your physicians or therapists in to see your child's records, so you can collaborate